Wednesday the 16th. 13 days being up on this billboard sign. Received a message from my brother. Told me that he was on the phone yesterday with someone with the FBI to help maybe press the issue and push it forward. Try and get someone to force Dakota County to investigate their wrongdoing, their misconduct, with their probation, the child protection, their supervisors. It's pretty sad when you got a legal system that can just lie and do what they want, and there's nothing you can do. And I mean, who are you going to go to and who are you going to turn to? And it's just, it's 100% fact. If they do what they want, and they can do what they want because they're the ones that are going to do anything or investigate or charge or whatever, they can just do what they want and just whatever. It's just too bad. And what can anyone do about it? And it's all solid fact. So my problem and concern and issue on all this is me finding out about my kid being around and living with a convicted child molester who is their stepdad now. Contacted his probation officer, and right then and there she should have investigated him, looked into it, and realized, oh, yep, this guy would have been in violation. Instead of her doing that, she realizes not only is he in violation, we've been allowing him to do all this all along. We've been allowing him to be around her. We've been allowing him to live with her. We've been allowing him to take her out of state on vacation when she was a minor child, like, you know, from at least the age of, you know, 4 or 5 years old all the way up till, you know, she was at least 18. Well, apparently on his his court orders, they saying no contact, whatever, for children under the age of 16. So the age of 4 to the age of 16, you know, he's been allowed to be around her, to be living in the same house with her, being able to take her out of state on vacation. The guy's a convicted child molester and still on probation. He's not supposed to be around kids. Definitely shouldn't be taking anyone's kid out of state on vacation, period. And when I brought it to the PO's attention, and they blew it up and like, oh, well, whatever, well, what do you want us to do? And like, you're talking about a convicted child molester on probation being supervised by probation officers, and this is brought to their attention, and that's what they do. Again, I said a convicted child molester, okay, on probation, 25 years. You don't get 25 years probation for spanking your kid. You know what I'm saying? So my problem and issue is, you know, these probation officers, when it was brought to their attention, they should have addressed the situation and dealt with it appropriately. Instead, they chose to lie about it and do nothing. And when I contacted their supervisor, they looked into it and realized, yeah, we definitely got a big problem here, and how are we going to address it, and how are we going to do it to move forward? Well, let's lie about it, and let's say nothing was wrong and everything was good, and he's always had permission. So you mean to tell me this guy's had permission all along to live with my minor kid, to be around my minor kid, to take my minor kid out of state on vacation numerous times, and you approved all that? Common sense now, think about that. And when he's got court orders not to be around children, you mean to tell me you approved all that, right? Common sense now, think about that. And then the civil division wanted to say they investigated it, they looked into it, they found that not to be not without merit around whatever, like had no grounds, he was never in violation, he's always had permission and been approved for everything he's done all along. Now think about what I just said. You mean to tell me now the civil divisions tell me they looked into it and they're telling me they didn't find anything, and they said all that's been done by the book and they did everything by the book and probation followed all their protocols? And I said, you mean probation followed all their protocols when back in 2005 when a PO had to sign a piece of paper for my ex to do a 2-hour workshop? Right then and there, they knew that he was going to be around someone's minor child. Right then and there, they're supposed to do a mandate report. When they went and purchased a house and they're living together, they're supposed to do a mandate report, because now again, they're knowing he's going to have contact and be around her. So you mean to tell me he's going to take my kid out of state on vacation when he's got to get approval from his probation officer to leave state and go on vacation, because he's got to get permission to leave state and go on vacation from his PO? So now again, he's got to ask permission and do all that, and again, the PO is going to be aware of all this. But in my recorded conversations, they said they weren't aware, they never knew, and they would never allow it. And then they turn around and say it was all approved after I showed them solid fact. So again, they should have did a mandate report. Endless amount of times throughout this whole process, they should have done a mandate report. They're supposed to notify the police department where they're living and that he's around kids. But all along, this guy had court orders not to be around kids under 16, period, except for his own kids supervised. So again, my problem and concern is these probation officers can lie and get away with it and not even be held accountable for their own misconduct, their own wrongdoing. The supervisor that supervises the probation officer, which would have been Mark Mell, he can just lie and just conspire along with Terry Olson, the probation officer, and go by with this law. And okay, well, we're gonna lie too, and we'll just conspire and we'll just stick together. And yep. And then when I go to his supervisor, Jim Scoville, same thing, so on and so forth, all the way up the line. So after even sending them all the solid fact documents, court orders, paperwork, even to the county attorney's office, so on and so forth, this is how the process went all the way up the line. So you mean to tell me all these people can lie and conspire among themselves and then even send out a letter, tell me they investigated it all, yep, there's no wrongdoing, everything was done by the laws and statutes, and I showed them you're wrong, you're lying, and then you get right back to, you mean to tell me all along you approved all this to happen? A child molester to live with my minor kid, this child molester to take my minor kid out of state on vacation, after you just told me no? Well, no doubt, in my mind, common sense, you would never allow a child molester to do something like that. But then to lie to me and turn around and tell me all this was approved? Which is it? Was it approved or was it not approved? You can't tell me honestly that it was really approved. No way. Like, I'd like to see well, I recorded my conversation with them. They had clearly admitted saying that all that was approved. He's still on probation. He should be in violation. He should be in prison right now. But how are they going to violate him and do all that when it'll fall right back into their court where they allowed him to do all that? Is it going to be, okay, we're going to hold you in, violation because you did all this, or are we going to, recommend it, or whatever the word is, randomate ourselves or punish us for our wrongdoing because we allowed all this, or should we just file papers and try and get them off probation early? And if we do that, then we don't even got to worry about any of it. There you go. First thing you do, we try and file papers and get them off probation early, and that's the first thing they tried to do. What other wording or logical explanation would there be for any of this on how it went down and how it's played out and where it's at today? Unless exactly this is how it's been, like the way I'm saying it. So I don't know, hopefully something gets pressed, some issue with my brother contacting and speaking with this woman from the FBI. I'll put the screenshot on the thumbnail or whatever of the video, but again, well, 13 days being up here now, I noticed when I got up and looked out, I noticed South St. Paul moved their mobile trailer unit. That's the same mobile trailer unit that they used when they did that siren thing, which played all whatever noise frequency that, I mean, it ripped my right eardrum. My right ear is all messed up now. I can't even hear out of it. It just feels like stuff's kind of draining out of it. But they moved it closer now, so not only that, yeah, the South St. Paul Police Department, you can go use your mobile trailer unit that is set for monitoring and crowds, whatever, and you're going to go and deploy a sound thing on that in public. And not only was I the only one affected, there was other people that were down there during that time when you guys wound up deploying that sound thing and then lying and saying it wasn't you. I posted a video on the company that makes them. Anyone, the phone number and everything's right there. You can call that company and ask them exactly what them trailers can come with customized and what they can do and so on and so forth. They'll tell you what they can get and what you want and whatever you want to customize it with and however you want to make it. You can call them yourself and ask them. The company's right out of West St. Paul. But yeah, so instead of dealing with the problem and working the issue and moving forward, they want to keep on making the problem worse and escalating it more and more. Fact.